All right. So, I was tasked with creating some different growth mindset lessons for a fifth grade class. And I only had short times where I would go in and be able to work with these kids, on growth mindset. And so I wanted to do something that was kind of a little bit different than a typical lesson. And I used kind of a mashup of ChatGPT, Notebook LM, and Google Slides to make that happen. So I'm just going to go through kind of the process that I did for creating it and then show you all a little bit of what it looked like when it came out. So the first thing I did is I used ChatGPT. At the time we were allowed to do that. Now I have to use Gemini, but to use ChatGPT, you could use any of the open source AI programs to get needed information. Because I didn't have off the top of my head people who show growth mindset that I knew about. So I put in a prompt to ChatGPT and I said, you know, a story of someone famous who made a mistake but learned from it. And ChatGPT gave me 5 people who made mistakes but learned from it, who are pretty famous, and the lesson that went along with what they learned. So I took each of those 5 people, we did one at a time, and I copy and pasted their information into Notebook LM. And Notebook LM is really cool. It has a lot of different features, but for this particular project, I focused on their podcast version. So what I did is in their studio, I generated a deep dive conversation to create an audio version of the information with a podcast style, because the kids are really into that. Like they'll sit and listen to a 3-minute podcast, no problem. But like me talking about the person, not as interesting. So directions are here on how you can do that. You can create in Notebook LM, you just create a new notebook. And then I use the paste text option for this because I was getting the information from ChatGPT, but I have also uploaded actual files to this and it works also. But I feel like the longer the text is, the longer the deep dive conversation becomes. So just keep that in mind. So here's an example of some pasted text about Steve Jobs, and then I inserted it. And then I generate a deep dive conversation. It takes a while, but you don't have to wait while it's doing that. It's fine. You can kind of move away and come back. Once it's ready, you can choose to download it. And this is what I did for this option. So this is the Walt Disney one. I can download it. And then I had to figure out a way to deliver and present it to the kids. So what I did is I chose to use Google Slides and give them 5 slides that they could choose from. And I just made a little slide deck because it was super simple. And then I could push that out to them however I decided. In this case, I just showed it up on the screen. We did it all together, and then they knew they could access it through Canvas at another time. So let's take a look at what the deep dive conversation sounds like. I'm going to use the Oprah Winfrey one. The Walt Disney one starts off, it sounds a little inappropriate about, it's just really funny. It's not unless you're an adult, but the kids didn't pick up on it. So here you go.
Everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Can you hear that?
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be diving deep into one event in Oprah Winfrey's early career, a moment that could have completely derailed her journey.
Sounds interesting.
But instead of stopping her, it actually became a pivotal turning point, putting her on the path to becoming, well, Oprah.
I'm intrigued.
We're going to be looking at a time when...
So it blows my mind that AI can come up with what sounds just like a real podcast, but about whatever topic I want them to create it on. So that is in a nutshell how I ended up kind of like smashing all those together. ChatGPT with Notebook LM with Google Slides. Obviously, you can take this idea and run with it because there are so many things that you can do with that. And there are a lot more features inside Notebook LM besides just the deep dive conversation, but that's one that I feel like our students are really like hooked into right now. So that's it for me.